Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Tone's Market Analysis. Today is Wednesday evening, March 8th. I am back from the Acapulco trip in Acapulco, Mexico. Sorry, I haven't been able to keep up with all the videos. The internet there was fairly spotty. The places that I was staying at, most of them didn't even have Wi-Fi. And honestly, this is what happens when I gotta travel. I gotta travel at my own expense, and traveling all over the world. I mean, the costs add up. So not being able to stay in $120 hotel rooms every night. If you end up going a little bit cheaper, you rent an apartment that doesn't happen to have good Wi-Fi, or in one case, no Wi-Fi. You end up in this kind of situation. So I'm back in New York. Internet's good, though I've been having technical difficulties, as the live viewers have just found out. Those that are watching live, please give me a comment that the video and audio sound good. A few administrative notes. I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna take, where I'm really going to take this blog, and I think I'm gonna. I mean, a lot of you are probably gonna be happy that I know I talk about traditional markets because that interests me, but the majority of my audience, it doesn't really interest you. So I have been thinking of splitting up this blog as Bitcoin stuff and finance and economics that's not Bitcoin related at all. This way I separate my audience. Those that are interested in Bitcoin will watch on one day of the week. Those that are interested in traditional markets and don't care about Bitcoin can watch it on a completely other side of the week, right? Also, this way, if Bitcoin totally implodes, thanks to the efforts of Bitcoin Unlimited, I will already have my other audience, and I don't have to, start from scratch. And I'll completely separate the two. What I was thinking is moving the Bitcoin side of things to Exotica and doing it there, and moving the non-Bitcoin side of things through Patreon and doing it from there, so that people will have to pay like $1 in order to watch my non-Bitcoin stuff live, and then it'll go to my YouTube like a day later, and hopefully I can figure out computer. I'll have a lot more power and a lot better memory in order to stream on Exotica with good quality. And also, if I'm also talking only Bitcoin, there's going to be very little charting in Bitcoin, and it'll be mostly talking about Bitcoin. So I'm going to work on that. This is just on my to-do list. As far as my other content, I know it's been a couple of weeks since the last crypto scam episode. I need to get back into the swing of things, doing some research, getting those out. I mean, the Bitcoin Unlimited thing really has kept me busy. I still need to go rewatch the two debates, go through like the 500 to 1,000 comments on all those debates. This stuff takes up a lot of time. The good news is that my trading is going to be on a month break. This is my non-trading season. My trading season just ended, so I may have a little more time to devote to Bitcoin. But then in mid-April, it's going to be back to trading traditional markets for me, in which case I might, devote a little less time to Bitcoin. Anyway, I will figure this out. I'll keep everybody posted on where I'm headed. I don't think Roger Ver has $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. I highly doubt that. But I wish I had a few $1 million worth of Bitcoin. It'll definitely make my life a little bit easier. At least it'll make it easier, to debate Roger Ver. Where if I had, if I was a slightly earlier Bitcoin adopter, in hindsight, Roger's been in Bitcoin for 6 years, and I've been in Bitcoin for 4 years, right? So it's like the difference isn't all that big, but financially the difference is huge. So you can read into that however you feel is right. you know. Okay, anyway, let's just jump on. Please don't forget the Magic Money documentary. I mean, me and Roger Ver are both in this movie. It was shot before any kind of scaling debates were taking place between us. It is a very good movie. It's for Bitcoin beginners. Has nothing to do with the scaling event. I'm actually kind of proud being in this movie, so hopefully you guys would come out and support. I'm way behind on my blog. My calendar is also totally wrong. This is what I'm going to be updating over the next week and a half, updating my blog and starting to create more content. Hopefully I'll have time for everything. All right, as usual for the live viewers, please, when you have questions, please start those questions with like the capital word questions so it's easy for you to find. And let's go ahead. I'm still going to talk about traditional markets, though, like I said, I will be moving this particular podcast to Bitcoin only, and then I'll have a whole other podcast for non-Bitcoin stuff. Maybe I'll briefly mention Bitcoin, but I'm not going to be doing the kind of Bitcoin Q&A that I do here. All right, so traditional markets, S&P is finally taking a little bit of a break, which is good. We are back to this previous high. I also like the fact that it topped on this 9. This is, it's an indicator most of my viewers probably aren't familiar with, but 9 is generally a topping pattern, and we're now started a different countdown to the downside. So this pullback might take a little while, and that's good. Would love to see this come back to the 50-day moving average. Looking at the weekly S&P 500, again, we broke what I thought was an extension. I really don't like projecting when things are in all-time highs. And but yeah, guys, try to save your questions for the end because it will be very difficult for me to find those later. I will take this question because it's very, very simple for me. Do you think the Rothschilds are holding Bitcoin since the Federal Reserve monopoly is going the way of the dodo? If you believe that the Rothschilds have any kind of power today, you really need to rethink your conspiracy theories. Rothschilds had a banking monopoly or were part of the banking family like, what, 100 years ago, 50 years ago? They are completely irrelevant today. If you believe that the Rothschilds have any kind of relevance in anything in finance, please go back and reprogram your conspiracy theories. The Rothschilds are totally, totally irrelevant to anything in finance here in 2017. So that was a very simple question for me to take on. All right, let's get, but do try to save those till the end. All right, let's just get right back into the S&P 500 quickly. The weekly chart is way overextended. I am a long-term bull of the stock markets. I think we are due a bit for a pullback. So the pullback should take us to around 2,300, and then we'll see. So I'll be keeping an eye on this orange line. And if we get back to this orange line, just move this arrow over. Let me do that. I just moved the arrow up. I am going to be looking at hitting that orange line. And then I don't think the markets will crash anytime soon. I think this is going to be a very positive year for the stock market. All right, let's, I'll save this and I'll close it. All right, gold. Here's the daily chart of gold. And I know it's a little busy with all those Fibonacci's. And I mean, people are just, I just came from the anarchist conference. People are just nuts when it comes to gold. I mean, you tell them that gold's going to go down and you think you're like advocating mass murder. I mean, that's how bad it is. I did a whole presentation about how gold's going to 700 and that Dow Jones is going to like 100,000. And the presentation went fairly well. There'll be a video of it. But that's definitely not something anyone was expecting. So this is the daily chart of gold. It is daily, right? Yeah, daily. And I mean, this was a decent top. I don't believe in double tops. So the moment we came back to this top, I expected it to go higher. This was a really good reversal at a Fibonacci. I also said, well, this is a good reversal, but again, I hate double tops. Anytime you have double tops, there's a very high probability that it's going to break to the upside, which is exactly what happened. And here we go. So I drew this arrow, I don't know, 3-4 days too early. We hit this double whammy resistance of the 200-day moving average and this Fibonacci extension, and you had this shooting star candle, and down we go. We've now broken below the 50-day moving average. There's a bunch of this weak support in with the Fibonacci's, but it's not going to last. I mean, I just put a fork in gold. I honestly think it's done. And the stock market's going down. Wait till the stock market reverses and starts to go up. Gold is going to accelerate to the downside. So I'm going to close the daily chart of gold. And here's the weekly chart of gold. Again, perfect textbook. I drew this arrow a few weeks ago. And I mean, I couldn't have drawn it any better. The last 2 weeks in gold have been disastrous. And look, it's going down as we speak. It's now at 1208. We had this bullish crossover on the weekly, and I said this wasn't going to last. It was just weird. This run up made absolutely no sense. I mean, anyone that was buying gold here and like caught this run up and claims that it was skill, it wasn't skill. It was mostly dumb luck. I mean, we came back up. We hit this trend line, which is now very, very clear. And now we were coming back. This trend line was like my last line of resistance, and we didn't even hit it. We're now going down. Again, the RSI hit oversold. We had a doji on the weekly chart. I mean, we fell a lot. We came back up. Again, put a fork in gold. The moment we fall below this doji, the moment we go back below 1120, we're going to get close to this double bottom. And again, I don't believe in double bottoms. The moment we start bouncing off of this like 1,000, 1,040, boom, gold's going down to 1,000. And if gold goes below 1,000, all hell's going to break loose. So we'll see when we get there. But I would be anything but bullish gold anytime this year, now, later this year. Haven't mentioned silver in a while. I thought I'd throw it up here. Silver has been generally much weaker than gold. And this is the weekly chart of silver from the very high. The trend line has been broken to the upside. But again, the moving averages couldn't even cross. Silver is going back down. My target for silver for the last few years has been $10 or lower. And I'm going to stick to it. Not going to... I mean, there's no reason. There's nothing here. We have to reverse and make new highs in order to consider silver reversal. So very bearish on silver. I have been very bullish on oil, but then we got stuck in this rut for like 3 months, and I still thought it was going to break out to the upside. We're breaking down to the downside, but the 50-day moving average is moving upwards. So let's see what happens. If we can bounce off the 50-day moving average and come back to 55, I still think oil can go to the 60, 70 range. But long term, I'm very bearish oil. I think oil is going to like $15, $20. It'll be good for humans. It'll be bad for many, many countries. So you'll see more riots and price controls on oil. It's going to get weird. Meanwhile, the governments are pushing, the world, the climate change bullshit, and we need renewable energy, but we want to keep selling a lot of high-priced oil. It's weird. There's just the contradictions left and right. I want to see oil at $10, $15 after renewable energy has caused it to go that far, because every time oil drops, renewable energy takes a hit, but every time oil goes up, renewable energy does well. I personally would love to see the world run on renewable energy. Pollution is a big problem. Global warming is bullshit. Global climate change, man-made climate change is complete and utter bullshit. But pollution is real. And to avoid pollution, we need clean energy. So that's my view on things. I might do a crypto scam episode about climate change, but that I have to do so much more, so many other crypto scam episodes before I get there. All right, euro is a basket case. I don't believe in double bottoms. The moment euro goes back to 104 area, it will be at parity before you know it. So the euro is bad. I really want to be bullish the British pound, but they just can't get their shit together apparently. Ever since doing the only smart thing they've done in the last 20 years, which was to vote for Brexit. And again, this is now going to be a triple bottom, which is worse than a double bottom. And the US dollar is going to get very strong. So they're both going to be going down. I've been wanting this inverse head and shoulders to materialize in the euro against the pound. And I've taken this trade. It's failed on me. And thank God I didn't take it again. It would have failed on me again. I know the pound is going to be better than the euro because I don't think the euro is going to exist within 5 years, but the pound will. So sooner or later, this will materialize. But for now, as long as it stays below the right shoulder, I'm still bullish the pound versus the euro. All right, let's talk about Bitcoin finally. I know this podcast, this is like a terrible podcast today. I know I have 95 live viewers. I had a huge delay. Hangouts wasn't cooperating. I tried moving this to exotica.tv. That wasn't really working out because my computer isn't powerful enough to stream and record. One happens at the expense of the other. I will figure out the happy medium, and maybe I'll only talk about Bitcoin on Exotica in the near future when I have a new laptop that has much more power. And because when I bought this laptop, I had no intention of being a content creator, and now I am. So things change. All right, so here are the weekly candles. This isn't great, but the week isn't over yet. It's not the end of the world. Bitcoin is down to 1140. It should be obvious as to why this is. Antpool has signaled for Bitcoin Unlimited. There's two reasons, right? So I'm not going to blame everything on Antpool. That would be unfair to the big blockers who think they're going to actually be able to create a 2 megabyte hard fork. Just the thought of them, the thought that they think that they're going to pull that off is ridiculous. So I'm almost certain Antpool going to Bitcoin Unlimited had I'd say half the reason for speculative fall in Bitcoin over the last 24 hours. However, there is another reason for this. But anyway, I'll get to that in a second. So the weekly chart, how far can it go without breaking the bullish trend? Well, back to 915 actually, right? So as long as we stay above 915, the weekly chart will remain bullish. So I'm okay with that. Let's take a look at the daily chart. This is my channel. This channel has existed since mid-2015. I personally drew this channel at the very end of 2015, right? So I probably drew this channel around December 2015. If anyone really cares to fact check me on this, I can find out for you, but I'm pretty certain I drew it back in December of 2015. The channel goes back to mid-2015. We are still inside this channel. There really isn't anything that much to worry about. We fell slightly out of this channel early on in the year. We went right back at it. It's been a while since we hit the top of the channel, but the top of the channel is pretty damn high up. So when this scare in the price of Bitcoin sets the Chinese miners straight and they start signaling for the right scaling solution of SegWit, all of this will reverse, and I expect us to hit the top of the channel. My target of $2,000 per Bitcoin by end of August is still intact. I have not yet said that. I mean, that's still my target. I'm not deviating from that target yet. It is in print. It's in Bitcoinist as of January 3rd. I'll probably pull it up next video or something. Momentum, yeah, we're out of the overbought. Not much to worry about. Slight divergence here. Almost no divergence there. So if we hit oversold, I mean, Bitcoin drops to 1,000. It's really not the end of the world. Hourly. So this is actually interesting. So let's take a look at this chart. I haven't updated these charts. Again, I literally landed in New York this morning. I'm glad to see 120 viewers, by the way, guys. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Man, so I drew this channel in here on these videos, and I just used these points here and there, and maybe I can do one of these. Spread it out a little, not that it's really helping. So this channel has been really good. This was the Chinese scare with the regulators. We stayed under the channel for a few days, maybe 3 days worth, maybe a week. We went back, hit the top of the channel, hit the bottom of the channel, went back up, hit the top of the channel again. I think the last time I was doing these videos was at the top of the channel. So I think I might have said that's a decent profit-taking position. Again, this is tricky. Let me try and extend this channel without screwing up too much of the history. Keep extending this channel because it's been useful for over a month now. All right, so this looks bad on the hourly charts. So, I mean, the volume isn't crazy high, so I guess it's not the end of the world. But let's see. I wonder if this updated. Let me see here. Let's see what we got. This is the Brave New Coin Liquid Index. I personally really like looking at it. Oh man, I was really hoping it would update. I guess it updates closer to 9 p.m. than 8 p.m. So unfortunately, you don't see the latest candle. The latest candle would be pretty bearish. And the latest candle is going to sit right here at 1140, right? So right below this red line. Right below the red line is where we are now. So that's not the end of the world, right? Because if you look at my projection that I put together at the beginning of the year back in January, yeah, this is where I drew that arrow. So you can see the front of the arrow. Well, I guess maybe February. I can swear I drew it back at the end of January, but maybe I drew it early. Maybe I drew it a month ago. Doesn't really matter. I thought we were going to struggle to get above 1150, right? So we got a little overextended. Even though we stayed inside the channel on the hourly charts, we got a bit overextended. And if we pull back, we're already here at the red line. Red line was supposed to be solid support. It struggled to break through it. And then after it finally broke through it, it would have gone way above, right? So now, because we only got a little bit above the red line, it's not as strong of support. And we can easily go back to the 50-day moving average, which sits at about 1,050. So This isn't bad. I mean, I drew these arrows expecting it to bounce around, so I'm not going to get them perfect. I mean, it was going to be impossible for me to get them perfect. But as long as we bounce around this area until SegWit finally gets adopted and all the Bitcoin Unlimited people just disappear, just like the Bitcoin XT people and Bitcoin Classic people, it's like you can't get rid of Gavin and Andreessen. It's like a nightmare. Anyway. Yeah, so as for the volume, well, the stupid Chinese volume is gone, so at least something good came out of all this. All right, so I guess I'll take questions. So here are my view on things, right? So go ahead and write your questions in. I'll do Q&A. So here's my reasons for why Bitcoin price is dropping. There's 3 reasons for why we just had a pretty rough 24 hours, probably a rough 48 hours, right? Let me go back to the hourly chart. So the high took place on March 3rd. There really wasn't anything to worry about until March 6th, and today is March 8th. So we've had a rough 48 hours. Here's my reasoning for it, right? I have 3 reasons for this. One is the Bitcoin price just went up too fast, right? I mean, we were a few bucks away from 1,300. A year ago, we were at 450. I mean, that's insane, right? And it went up pretty quickly. Like, again, look at my chart here. I wasn't expecting this run up, right? I mean, I was expecting a run up back to the highs and then bounce around here, into the summer and then break out. So we got a little bit out of control here, right? Did I sell my Bitcoin? The answer is no, because it's very difficult for me to time Bitcoin. And also, I would never trust a single Satoshi to an exchange. Every Bitcoin I have ever invested in anything other than a cold storage has ended very badly for me, right? So at this point, like, I don't even consider it. I even cringe when people ask me, where should I trade my Bitcoin? And I tell them, on your Trezor or in your Airbits wallet. That's where you should be trading them. Right, just move them from one wallet to another if you like, but don't give them to anyone else. Anyway, so no, I don't actively trade Bitcoin. I think it's silly, and I'm gonna talk more about that, like the Bitcoin hedge funds. There are just scams. I'll be tweeting that out soon. So I saw somebody. Thank you for that tweet, by the way. You know who you are. That gave me a heads up on some Bitcoin hedge funds, and I'll be getting to them when I have a little more time. All right, I'm getting more live viewers now, so you missed my very beginning. Anyway, well, you'll find out. I'll probably be moving this to Exotica, and I'm going to stop talking about the traditional markets in these Bitcoin videos, and I'll move the traditional markets to their own independent videos that have nothing to do with Bitcoin, because I still like my personal backup plan. If Bitcoin is still an experiment, I am heavily invested in Bitcoin from a percentage standpoint, not overall wealth standpoint. And if Bitcoin doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, right? I personally have a backup plan, which I'd like to focus more on, which is traditional markets. Okay. Also, if you haven't seen the debates, oh man, go to YouTube here. I'm sure you all have, because everyone follows me as it is. But okay, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm way off track. My 3 reasons for why Bitcoin is going down, and it's had a rough 48 hours. So reason number 1 is we got a little bit too extended. We got way too extended here. We got way too extended here. We got way too extended here. And then China showed us the way. And now we got a little too extended again, right? That's reason number 1. Reason number 2 actually has to do with the ETF. The craziness with the ETF is out of control. We'll be talking about it on Friday on the Bitcoin group. I'm absolutely certain. My view on the ETF has not changed. Anyone that has heard me talk about the ETF all year long, and probably last year, what I talked about it last year is in general. What I talked about this entire year in regards to the ETF price has not changed, and it worked out exactly like I said, and I will repeat it one more time. It's not the announcement of the ETF, it's the speculation leading into the announcement. Just like the halving took place here. The money was made there. ETF is going to be announced for or against on Monday. It was obvious it wasn't going to be a Saturday. They're going to announce on Monday. The money isn't going to be made on Monday. The money was made in February. Okay? It was the speculators. The speculators drove it all the way up to 1100. And they got it there way early. And they took their profits. And that's when I said, well, they still got plenty of time to ramp it one more time. And they did. And guess what? They're taking their profits. Because all of the people that are telling you they are certain, I had people tell me they are so certain that the ETF is going to be approved. You know, they have insider knowledge from government officials that it's going to be approved. I have people that have told me they have insider knowledge from government officials that it's not going to be approved. Then I have people telling me that they have insider government official knowledge that it's going to be postponed. No one knows shit. He does not know what they're going to say today. They are like the Fed. They will make this decision on Friday. They will mull it over the weekend, and they will tell you on Monday. My personal probability of ETF approval coming Monday is 5%. My them saying no is about 40%. That leaves 55% on the table. That 55% is the SEC saying we're gonna need another 6 months because you guys don't even know how to scale the underlying. Not to mention the Winklevoss brothers will have way too much power. They will have control of the underlying price for the ETF. They will have control of the storage of the Bitcoin. They will also be in charge of the ETF itself. That is just completely ridiculous. That's not how ETFs work. No one in Bitcoin knows how ETFs work. This is why we have the Winklevoss brothers with zero experience in finance trying to file for a Bitcoin ETF. I don't want the Bitcoin ETF. It is terrible for Bitcoin. No one should want the ETF. Why do you want the bankers to control the ETF? Everyone is like being so hypocritical. The core is being financed by bankers. What bankers? AXA, the life insurance company? That's who you think the bankers are? Who do you think is going to have control of the ETF? Anyway, people are just like, no one thinks in this space. It's completely ridiculous. And yeah, as people are commenting right now, it's of course it opens the door for a Dash ETF and a OneCoin ETF and a Monero ETF and Ethereum ETF and Ethereum Classic. You name it, it's going to be there. Zcoin, which I never even heard of before Roger Ver has announced to the world that he has, diversified 1% into, shit coins. It's it's complete insanity. Anyway, so ETF is a reason why we're going down, because the money on speculation that the ETF is going to be approved has already been made. They are now taking their profits. Now, the third reason for the fall in the price over the last 48 hours is ant pool signaling for Bitcoin Unlimited. Now, I fully understand why Chinese miners want Bitcoin Unlimited. And it has absolutely nothing to do with more transactions in a block. That is the double-speak bullshit that people are buying into. The Chinese miners want a bigger block so that they can monopolize mining and centralize mining. Because if a block is 2 megabytes, it'll take longer to get through the Chinese firewall. It'll take longer to validate across the world. We already have a problem with the mining of empty blocks. That happens because people start mining the second block, the block after a block that has been found, because they trust that the miner has, didn't lie about finding the block. So they don't bother validating the block that was just found. They begin mining the following block. And again, I'm not a miner. I've never been a miner. This shit is just common sense. I don't know the technical details. I don't know why they're able to mine empty blocks and not have to put a single transaction into them, and no one is holding them accountable. And it's the same miners that are mining empty blocks, and in the case of Antpool, they can't fill a block to 1 megabyte. Their blocks are like 800, 850 kilobytes instead of like 990 kilobytes, like every block that Bitfury mines. This is why Bitfury has my respect, and Bitfury won my award for Company of the Year because they do responsible mining. And I understand that miners need to compete with each other, and it's a dog-eat-dog world. But you give the Chinese miners 2 megabyte blocks, they might take that up to 4, and guess what? All the mining has just gone to China. Or miners outside the Chinese firewall are going to tell those miners to go screw themselves, and they're going to fork Bitcoin with SegWit and small blocks. And boom, we have 2 Bitcoins again, okay? We can't go to 2 blocks right now. It's too contentious. The only way I personally would support a hard fork to 2 megabytes is if everyone is using SegWit. Everyone, every wallet, every SegWit transaction. SegWit is maximized so that the 1 megabyte block fits as much data as a 4 megabyte block because of all the other good things that come with SegWit. And then if we have a problem with getting all the transactions confirmed and the fees are still kind of high, look, I will admit that maybe it's time for a hard fork to 2 megabytes. But right now, I am on a completely opposite side of the fence, and I will fight this all the way. And if I'm lose, I already bet Roger Ver that I'm out. If I lose the SegWit versus Bitcoin Unlimited battle, the only videos you guys are going to be watching from me will have to do with the S&P 500 and gold, okay? It's not going to be Bitcoin videos because I'm not going to care. I would consider this battle lost. Hell, if they can make the few Bitcoin that I have, $10,000 each, great. But I'm not going to be like a Bitcoin advocate. I'm already telling everyone not to buy Bitcoin. Like, people are emailing me now, Tone, wow, I should have listened to you. When should I buy Bitcoin? You know what I'm telling them? Don't buy Bitcoin. This shit's I don't think it's gonna fork, but it scares me. It always scares me. Bitcoin XT scared me. Bitcoin Classic scared me. Probably shouldn't have been much to worry about. I should really go back through the questions, guys, because I know there's chat going on. I need to scroll through it. Also, speaking of Bitcoin Unlimited, right? I hope people saw this tweet that I sent out. And this tweet is actually, these pictures are actually very, very telling. Let me see here. Let me see if I can draw on this. Let's do. Do I want to do black? No, I don't want to do purple either. I guess let's do black. So this blue right here, that's Bitcoin XT. So this was the Mike Hearn, Bitcoin has failed, we need bigger blocks now, and there it is, okay? This purple is Bitcoin Classic. This is Gavin getting on the bandwagon that we need bigger blocks because transactions aren't being cleared. And again, I gotta be irate about this. Blocks are not full. If blocks were full, every block being mined would be, within a fraction of error of 1 megabyte. Every time I see an 800 megabyte block, tells me blocks aren't full. So don't give me your bullshit about how the blocks are full. If the blocks were full, miners would be mining full blocks. unless someone wants to give me a good reason why miners aren't mining full blocks, I'm going to keep telling you blocks aren't full. It really is common sense. There's no rocket science here. Programming Bitcoin core code without it breaking, that's pretty much rocket science. Screaming that there's big blocks with miners not mining full blocks, no, that's insane. Look, Bitcoin Classic had over 2.4 thousand nodes. Bitcoin Unlimited hasn't even cracked 800 nodes, right? Look what happened to Bitcoin Classic. Bitcoin XT, which came before Classic, had over 1,000 nodes. Bitcoin Unlimited hasn't broken 800 nodes yet. Now, if you're going to tell me, and I know people are going to tell me, well, look at these charts. Obviously, these were like bullshit AWS nodes. They were all fake. Well, guess what Bitcoin Unlimited nodes are? I'd say half of them are probably fake too. Okay. Look, you guys want to support Bitcoin? Start a Bitcoin full node. Download Bitcoin Core Client. I believe 0.14 just came out. People are offering to send me Raspberry Pis. Thank you for the offer. I will be taking you up on that offer. Unfortunately, as you can see, I even have problems streaming my videos. So if I run a full node on my laptop, it would be at the expense of talking to all of you guys. I am debating, do I not want to be a hypocrite and run a full node, and then you won't hear from me because I will not have the memory in my computer. I'll be able to run a full node and trade, even though I'm on a month-long trading break. I'll be able to run a full node, but I probably won't be able to stream video, right? I mean, again, one happens to come at the expense of the other. When I upgrade my laptop, hopefully I'll be able to do both. When I get my Raspberry Pi or two in the mail, I will set up my full nodes. But I do encourage you to set up a full node if your computer allows you to, or you have an extra laptop laying around, which unfortunately I do not. Anyway, so that's kind of my, let me just go through questions. I will be doing a lot more Bitcoin Unlimited content in the near future. Historical CO2 levels and the trend beginning with the Industrial Revolution. I've seen those. Again, this is the global warming stuff. I've seen those. Also, to those that aren't very familiar with me, I do have a degree in geology. That was my initial field of study. So I'm not too oblivious to some of this global warming nonsense. I do know the CO2 levels, but the CO2 levels have been this high, like, a million years ago. That means nothing. Also, CO2 is oxygen for plants. So the more CO2 in the atmosphere, the more plants will grow, and we already have a deforestation problem. So, I mean, the Earth is a living, breathing machine. So the CO2 that goes into the atmosphere will be eaten up. And don't forget, our advancement in technology is in 50, 100 years, when I'm dead, I can almost guarantee you that the problem in the world will be not enough CO2. Okay, and then plants are dying, and it's hard to put out fires. Remember, if the Earth's concentration of oxygen, I really don't want to get on this tangent in the Bitcoin video, but the Earth's atmosphere, I mean, if my memory serves me right, I haven't seen this in like 10 years. We're like 70% nitrogen and like 29% oxygen and like 0.03% carbon dioxide. Okay, so something in that ratios. If the amount of oxygen is what we need to survive, if the amount of oxygen in the air goes from 30% up to 35 or 40%, we're all probably going to die because it'll be almost impossible to put out a fire. The more oxygen in the atmosphere, the harder it is to put out fires. This is why if you or someone you know happens to catch on fire, the fastest way to put it out is to put a blanket over them to cut the oxygen off. Also, if anyone's ever like built a fire in the woods, put a bunch of branches next to each other and no oxygen between them, you don't, turn them into a tent, your fire isn't really going to go anywhere. Anyway, people really need to do way more research before taking a side in the climate change debate. All right, questions. Vern from Cryptsy is advising PBOC. I think that's a joke, though that would be very, very fun. Okay, here's a question. Without any centralized direction, miners increase the block limit to 250 kilobytes to 500 kilobytes, 750, and then finally 1 megabyte. Why not? No, that's not how it happened. Actually, the block size was lowered to 1 megabyte. It used to be unlimited, I believe, and it was lowered to 1 megabyte. It was lowered to 1 megabyte as a soft fork. I made this mistake in the Roger Ver debate. Oh wait, speaking of the debate, this is what I wanted to pull up. Where am I here? That's World Crypto Network. My channel. Yeah, so if you haven't seen these, right, please go to my YouTube channel. Please take a look at my debate with Roger Ver. And in that debate, I mean, I did a terrible job. I probably did SegWit a disservice by debating Roger, and I apologize for that. Like, I apologize to the SegWit supporters. I apologize to Bitfury. I apologize to core devs, and then, I guess groups like Blockstream. I feel that I did a disservice to SegWit by debating Roger Ver and not being fully prepared to debate Roger Ver on SegWit. And I don't want to talk about why that is. I really should not be the person debating for SegWit, only because I'm not knowledgeable enough for it. And Johnny did a much, much better job because he's just more informed. It's his job to be more informed. It's not my job to be informed on every little thing on SegWit. It's my job to know which developers to trust. And I know this sounds like it's obedience to authority from uneducated people. My job was to manage developers back on Wall Street, and I need to trust those developers. If I give an assignment to the wrong developer, I can lose my job. So I have to know which developer is good at what. That was my skill set. I'm not saying I was great at that skill set, but I kept my job for a pretty long time while getting promoted, okay? And my other job was when a bug was found in the code, I had to decide which of 20 developers I need to remove from their current task and solve this problem. I had to find the best developer for the job. I had to know every developer's strengths and weaknesses. And people might not think this is a good skill, but this is a skill that earned me a 6-figure salary back when I had a job, okay? So when people make fun of me for not knowing anything, that's fine, because they don't know anything themselves either when they say that, okay? There's something to be said about being able to know who's the right man for the job, even though you have absolutely no ability to do that job yourself, okay? It's kind of like, can you cut your own hair? Can you do your own surgery? No, but you are going to figure out who the best barber is for yourself and who the best surgeon is for yourself, especially when you can afford any of them, right? You will go and find the best one, and you can figure out which one is the best without ever having to have performed surgery yourself. Anyway, so please watch these debates. Roger said several things that were so blatantly wrong and false, and I just did not have, I just didn't know that they were so false to immediately knock them down, right? So I also got a bunch of things wrong. Now, the things that I got wrong, I will fess up to them. They were honest mistakes. Like I said, the 1 megabyte back in the day was a hard fork. It wasn't. It was a soft fork. things like that, right? So did SegWit a disservice. Roger's mistakes. So when someone corrects all of my mistakes, SegWit would look even better. When someone corrects all of Roger's mistakes, SegWit would also look better, and Bitcoin Unlimited would look significantly weaker. And that's kind of the difference between the mistakes we made. So I will go back through it. I will try to fact check everything. My time is fairly limited and just so much to do. I still got to look at like the 1,000+ comments both of these videos got between the two of them. And all of that just takes time. All right, so where was I going with this? Oh, there was a question. So that's the answer to the question. And we've never had a real hard fork. The closest we came was in 2013 because of Mike Hearn put a bug in the code. And when there is a bug, consensus can be reached very, very quickly. Any kind of a contentious hard fork will create 2 Bitcoins. I can guarantee you that because I am not switching, and I will start mining. Shoot, I'll be the Arvico of the Ethereum Classic debacle, right? I'll lose all my Bitcoin. I don't care. I'm staying with SegWit in one block. It's not about money for me, right? Look, like I've been telling people, if I really, I should care about money more than I do, then maybe I wouldn't be, pinching pennies and staying in hotel rooms with crappy Wi-Fi. But if I cared about money, I'd still be working a shitty job on Wall Street, collecting my 150K minimum a year and converting it to Bitcoin, and you guys would never know my name. I know a lot of you wish you never knew my name, but it is what it is. All right, I'm going through questions here. How big a risk is Bitcoin Unlimited? That's a very good question. It is very difficult to quantify. So here's the risk, right? I don't believe Bitcoin Unlimited would be able to hard fork. I don't believe that. I don't believe they will ever get to 50%. If they're not at 50%, they're not even going to attempt to fork. They would need at least 50%, either in mining power or in node, or in nodes, like the user activated soft fork is the amount of nodes. I don't believe they will ever get 50% of either. So I don't believe that they would be able to hard fork. So the risk of them actually hard forking is very, very small. Now, if they do manage to hard fork at any percentage, even if Bitcoin Unlimited gets 90% of the network in both hashing power and nodes, and they decide to hard fork, the risk is huge. The risk is like 90% that Bitcoin will split in two, even with 90% consensus for Bitcoin Unlimited, because it's a hard fork. And they just don't get it. They just don't get it. That even a 5, 10, or a 5%, see, when you have a 5% minority in a soft fork, there is nothing they can do. They have to switch to consensus. When there is a 5% minority in a hard fork, they can fork and they can be powerful, just like Ethereum Classic. I promise you, my viewers, my followers, the community, if Bitcoin Unlimited tries to fork in the next year, or probably in the next year and a half, with 95% consensus, I will not switch. I will stay on that 5%. And I know other people that will do the same. And if their argument is, ha ha ha, it'll take you 2 months to find the next block, I will tell them that a 5% minority will have an immediate 100% consensus within each other to hard fork again with consensus of 100% to lower the difficulty to whatever difficulty creates a 10-minute block. and then go from there. Maybe they'll even adjust how quickly difficulty adjusts to account for increased hashing power that's going to go there. I would love to mine. I would love for 95% of Bitcoin mining to move to this stupid hard fork 2 megabyte blocks that will probably get stuck behind the Chinese firewall. And I will gladly buy a miner and I will mine and I will make money with my 5% or whoever wants to join me. And because of this, I know it's not going to happen. They are not going to hard fork. But to fully answer the question, how big is risk of BU? The risk of them hard forking is small. The risk to having 2 Bitcoins after they hard fork is enormous. But here's the biggest risk that Bitcoin Unlimited has already created, and it will never go away. Bitcoin Unlimited has caused a big rift in the community. I've lost several friends to this already because I kind of take this a little personal because it's an attack on Bitcoin. And they might feel the same about me, that I'm attacking Bitcoin. But it doesn't matter, right? There's a civil war going on inside Bitcoin, all caused by this now 3rd attempt to fork Bitcoin into bigger blocks for reasons beyond my understanding. Maybe I'm too much of an idiot to understand these reasons. Maybe I need to sit down in the room with Yoshi. I need to sit. I mean, I know Roger Vere's view, but I need to sit down with technical people. Maybe I need to sit down in the room with all of the Bitcoin Unlimited developers, all 3 of them, right? One of whom apparently, whose claim to fame and knowing Bitcoin is the fact that he used to scale telephone networks. That means absolutely nothing. Oh yeah, speaking of which, sorry, I'm going to go off topic again. Here's another thing that drives me insane. So people say the following: big developer teams aren't better. Smaller teams are better. That is so dumb. That is just beyond dumb. The big developer team of Bitcoin Core got big because better and better developers kept joining them, and weaker and weaker developers kept getting kicked out. So it's not like you have this 100+ team of developers that don't know what they're doing. This was 4 or 5 years in the making or more for the best developers to be there contributing code. The small group of developers came out of nowhere. They're the new people. Gavin Andreessen hasn't done any code. He couldn't even get code in the last several years. Okay? So when people say that, oh, this big developer team isn't good, this small developer team is better, that is so dumb. It's just stupid because this new developer team, they have no qualifications. None. Anyway, you're right. A small team might be better. I'll take a small team. Let's put Vandalier. I can't even pronounce his name. Gregory Maxwell, Luke Dash Jr., Eric Labroso, and maybe Peter Todd. Let's put those 5 people as one team, and that's a small developer team I will take. Okay, I'm definitely not going to take anyone from Bitcoin Unlimited. I will take any of the 100 contributors to Bitcoin Core right now over anyone in Bitcoin Unlimited. So that's kind of my view on that development. All right, so back to the risks, right? So the risk of Bitcoin Unlimited is huge because they've already started this rift, and they're going to try again. There'll be another one. I mean, after Bitcoin Unlimited fails, they'll come up with another bullshit name, right? They're going to keep trying to fork Bitcoin. It created this giant animosity, and I know I'm not helping matters, but so what? Created this giant animosity in the community, and that's the real danger. I mean, it's politics. It's just politics. So yeah, the damage has been done. There's no going back from it. It's going to get bad. I mean, Bitcoin has made it through this shit before. It'll make it through it again. All right, let's see if there's any other questions. They've been trying to split Bitcoin. Does Bitcoin Unlimited try to? They've been trying to split Bitcoin. That's all they want. They want to split Bitcoin. It's the third attempt to split Bitcoin. It's really bad. This is an interesting question. I'll read it out. In relative terms to equities, why is mining so accepted and not considered dilution with altcoins? Well, altcoins are just pump and dumps. They're only there to make more Bitcoin. Altcoins are nonsense. I don't own a single altcoin. I mean, that's not literally true. I did believe in those altcoins back in 2013 or 14. So I might have bought some, and God knows where they are now, but they're small amounts. I wouldn't even be able to get to them. And I think a bunch of them were sitting at Cryptsy anyway, right? But for all intents and purposes, I hold 0 altcoins. Now, as far as mining dilution, well, it's not, because it's totally predictable. And we need mining for security. So it's an effective inflation rate of the Bitcoin monetary supply. And pretty soon, Satoshi is going to be holding more coins that will be created in future mining. So, yeah, it's just accepted because we need mining. We need it for security of Bitcoin, something that Ethereum doesn't understand. And neither does Dash, by the way. All right, or Steam it. Next. What did you invest in with Bitcoin? Honestly, the biggest thing I've invested with Bitcoin is my time to the community, trying to educate people about Bitcoin, trying to bring some responsibility to the space, bring some honesty to this space. And both of those things are lacking greatly in Bitcoin. I keep joking that if Bitcoin Unlimited wins, I'd go back to Wall Street and make an honest living. And that's half joke and half isn't a joke, because 90% of everything I've seen in crypto is an outright scam, and maybe 10% of shit in Wall Street is an outright scam. Everything else is. And by the way, I'd say 99% of all Wall Street employees are trying to do the best job and are fairly honest people, which is not even close when it comes to the Bitcoin space, which I'm kind of okay with. You guys want unregulated environment, you got it, right? But then don't complain when someone steals your money. Have the Chinese miners been compromised by the Chinese government? I have absolutely no idea. I can't speculate on that. I'm gonna say probably not, but nobody knows, and the miners aren't gonna tell you. So it's I mean, these are the kind of questions I don't really think about, because I can't prove one way or another. Will we see another bull run before Monday, or it will go even lower? It's probably gonna go lower. I think the bull run is done. Audica instead of Exotica, maybe. I don't know. I haven't had time to think about all this. I'll figure out. I might move my channel to Audica. And Exotica is kind of useful because everybody else is there. Maybe I'll be their first person on Audica. I might do it. We'll see. I also kind of have to join Exotica because Roger Ver got me on that. Well, Tone is not even a Bitcoin user. He's a saver, which I'm proud of. Look, I'm proud of the fact that I've never used my Bitcoin in KYC ways. I'm proud that I didn't waste my Bitcoin on that cup of coffee so that whoever I'm buying coffee from immediately sold Bitcoin at a market price and lowered the price of Bitcoin. I'm proud of the fact that I don't use Purse.io to save 15%. Roger talks about, I'm proud that I didn't use that, because the moment you use it, that Bitcoin goes up for sale and it drops the price of Bitcoin. I mean, these are the kinds of things I didn't really articulate in my debate with Roger, but I'm proud to be a saver of Bitcoin and not a spender of Bitcoin. But you know what? You're right. I'm not really a user of Bitcoin, which is why I'm also proud to be a cam girl on Exotica, where I'm going to move all this content. So I can then honestly say that, well, you know what? I make my money in Bitcoin. I get tipped in Bitcoin. So there, that's another way to look at it, right? Like Roger likes to make fun of me and everyone is like jumping on his bandwagon. Haha, Tone's not a user of Bitcoin. Well, you know what? I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I didn't lose all my Bitcoin to scams and managed to hold on to half of it. And now I don't spend it and try to hoard it. I'm proud of that. So again, you're free to make your own judgment on that statement. Can you do a video? Oh, okay. Can I do a video on how to set up a full node? You know what? I actually need to set up my own full node. We will do this video on the World Crypto Network. So please keep an eye on my Twitter about the full nodes. Chris Ellis is an expert in this. Other people are experts in this. I haven't ran a full node in about a year or two. It's unfortunate, but I mean, that's just the kind of setup I have at home. I will be getting a few Raspberry Pis, and I will be setting up the full nodes. We will have videos for you. I will probably do a video just so there's one on my channel. Can I call Roger Ver a $1 billion crybaby? No, I'm not going to do that. Like, I don't do personal attacks. I mean, I'll attack companies. I'll attack scammers. Roger is not a scammer to me. He's just not. I also don't think he's a billionaire. And Roger believes what he believes, right? He believes that Bitcoin should be this free payment system across the world so you can buy everything and anything. And I don't see it that way, right? I believe that Bitcoin should be used for censorship-resistant transactions. And if no one is stopping you from buying your cup of coffee with dollars, then use dollars. If no one is stopping you from, buying things from Amazon with your credit card, then use your credit card. You get 5% off from Discover and what do you call it? Chase Freedom. I mean, you get decent discounts. So, I mean, that's my view on things, right? We're fundamentally different on that. So no, I mean, Roger believes what he believes. I believe that he's wrong. I believe what I believe. Roger believes that I'm wrong. It's a huge difference of opinion. I think it leads to a lot of bad blood within the Bitcoin space. I'm not happy about that. And, relationships are being severed here. So it's maybe one day one day maybe when everything pulls through and everything is good again. But honestly, I think these kinds of debates are only going to get bigger and worse. And I'm not sure I'll have it in me for another one of these, right? I think I'm going to burn out trying to prevent Bitcoin Unlimited and getting SegWit pushed in. And the reason why I'm the one debating Roger is because these debates aren't easy. And this debate came about last minute. It's not like we planned this for a month and we had time to prepare. This debate got put together on a 24-hour notice. I'm not happy at all that there was a Dash logo in the background the whole time. I hold myself partially responsible for the Dash nonsense because I was the one that tweeted out the fact that Roger has diversified into Dash. And I was the one that posted these videos up on my channel with 10,000 views each with the the Dash logo in the background. And it would have been disrespectful for me to take down that poster of the Dash ad because it was the crypto show and they are sponsored by Dash. And they know my feelings on them being sponsored by Dash because I think Dash is a scam. But you know what? You see how good that equipment is and you see how shitty my equipment is. Because I can't blame them for taking the money and having good equipment. And then people that, complain to me why the quality of my content sucks. Well, guess what? No one pays me to do this content. I do it for free. An occasional donation here and there, right? So don't complain about the quality of my content if you're not going to pay for it. It's as good as you get. Now, the quality of their content is significantly better because they have sponsors. Now, I don't like these sponsors. I think these sponsors are scammy. But again, it's their show. It's their studio, their remote studio that they brought to Mexico. And I'm not going to be taking down their banner, right? It's very disrespectful to the people that are providing that space and moderating the event. So that's my view on things. All right, let me see if there's any other question. Tone, you are annoying. Of course I'm annoying. I don't know why anybody would watch me. But I have 130 people, so that's great. Thank you, guys. I didn't even talk to Amanda. I didn't want to. I just said hi to her. She was at Acapulco. She was speaking. I was speaking. I mean, at one point, I was standing like 3 feet away from her. You know what? I don't want to. I gave enough promotion to Dash. The last thing I want to do is have Amanda on my channel or talk to Amanda. She's just a mouthpiece for what I think is a scammy project, right? So I have no reason to talk to her. Like I don't like giving scammers a stage. And I know that's a contradiction between me posting these videos with the Dash logo, but I just explained my reasoning for that. All right, let's see if there's any other questions. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm getting to your questions kind of late. I'm sure some of these questions were posted like half an hour ago, so hopefully you all stuck around. Do you think Litecoin with SegWit or will get SegWit, and how good would that be for Litecoin? It would be great for Bitcoin. Okay, so I have a feeling you're new to my channel. I've talked about this many times. I guess I'll try and do a TLDR. Bitcoin Core devs would be very happy if SegWit gets adopted by Litecoin. I don't even think Litecoin needs SegWit and to solve the problems that SegWit solves. However, the Bitcoin Core developers are also programming Lightning, and Litecoin would need SegWit in order to have Lightning, and it's a great test net. It's great to see SegWit and Lightning work on something that has value. And you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and speculate that the Bitcoin Unlimited supporters are also anti-Litecoin because they don't want to see Litecoin adopt SegWit, because that would make it easier for Bitcoin to adopt SegWit. So they're going to be anti-Litecoin. They just want their big blocks and they want to fork Bitcoin. And I don't understand why they want to fracture the community into 2 Bitcoins. Maybe they think like Ethereum, they'll be rich because the combined value of the 2 Bitcoins will be greater than the 1 Bitcoin we currently have. And that is a terrible opinion. And anyone that thinks that, I believe, just wants to fracture and destroy Bitcoin. I just don't see it any other way. Yeah, so I think Litecoin adopting SegWit would be great because it'll show that the code is good and the code is safe, and Bitcoin should adopt it as soon as possible. All right, next question. With the ETF, do we run the risk of opening the door of a future market that controls the spot price like gold? We do. We do a little bit. I honestly don't think the gold ETF controls the gold price. The gold futures market controls the gold price. Now, you can say that that's bad, and I can say that that's good, because gold is useless, guys. Gold is freaking useless. No one uses gold. The only reason gold has a price is because of naked future sales. I trade gold naked. I buy futures contracts. I don't have 33 ounces of gold per contract to deliver to someone. I short gold. When I short gold, I need the gold to be delivered. When I buy a naked gold contract, I don't have the money to buy 33 ounces of gold when that contract expires. And I don't even trade one contract. I can trade 10 contracts. All I need is $50,000 and I'll trade 330 ounces of gold in the futures market, right? That's what creates the price of the gold. If you eliminate naked short selling, if you eliminate naked short selling, you will eliminate naked gold buying. If you eliminate the futures market of naked buying and selling of gold, there will be no price of gold. I have to disagree with Andy Hoffman. I disagree with Bill, what's his name? I'm sorry, I forgot his name. Is it Big Sweer? Sorry, guys. I disagree with all these gold promoters. You eliminate naked short selling and naked buying, there will be no price of gold. Gold will be like $5 one day and like $1,000 the next day. It will be a complete disaster. So the more Bitcoin goes into the Bitcoin ETF, the more Bitcoin falls under the control of Wall Street, the more Bitcoin falls under the control of the SEC and the government. If the Bitcoin ETF one day controls 30% of all Bitcoin, that's it. They can just come and take the Bitcoin. Like, okay, it's ours. That seems like a neat deal. Now what? Anyway, it's so dumb. You don't want the ETF. It's like the worst thing possible for Bitcoin. It goes against everything Bitcoin stands for. Being, on a semi-anonymous, censorship-resistant value transfer. All of that goes away. These people don't want what's best for Bitcoin. They just think the price is going to go up. Price going up isn't always a good thing. Look at the real estate crash. Look at the 2000.com crash. Price going up for stupid reasons isn't a good thing because it's going to end badly. You want stability. Bitcoin ETF is not going to bring you stability. All right, let's see what else we got. If the ETF is approved, can someone make short the market like gold? Of course they can, right? So here's what's going to happen. So you can short the GLD gold ETF right now. I can go to my broker and I can short the ETF without having any gold. So someone will be able to short the Bitcoin price on the stock exchange. Is this bad? Not really. The bad part is how much Bitcoin is going to be held as the underlying for the Bitcoin ETF. And the more is held, not only do you run the risk of a government confiscation, you also run the risk of a hack, internal or external. Now what? Imagine, a Mt. Gox that's like 10 times bigger. Oh, Jesus, guys, I have a lot of questions. I fell really behind. Where am I here? I'm not even sure I'm going to get to all these questions. I really don't want to be here for 3 hours, and neither does anybody else want me to be here for 3 hours. Will we see? Oh wait, I already answered that. No, running a full node does not help with the Bitcoin transaction congestion. That SegWit will help with that. The Bitcoin node doesn't do anything in that regard. The Bitcoin node would just help decentralize the network, and it'll show support for the code base that you like. And also, a Bitcoin full node keeps the history of every Bitcoin transaction. So if there is a catastrophic EMP from a solar flare, if every single node goes down, the Bitcoin network is pretty much dead. But as long as there's two, some say one, but I'd say as long as there's two Bitcoin nodes functioning somewhere in the world and they can communicate with each other, then the Bitcoin history can survive. Oh yeah, Bitcoin Unlimited runs on like a year-old code. I mean, that's the thing I tried to explain in my debate with Roger Ver, and of course, people don't understand that because they don't understand development. Yet they think that I am the obedience to authority. So anyway. All right, let's see more questions. I've been following Ethereum Classic versus Bitcoin and Ethereum Classic versus USD very closely recently. A lot of things do not make sense here. Well, I can't answer that question. I have not been following either. Ethereum Classic is very, very concentrated, and Barry Silber is heavily involved. So I personally don't like any kind of token where like one person controls the majority and that person is involved, right? Like for example, and the involved part is important, right? Satoshi is gone. He hasn't moved his coins. So even though Satoshi controls a big chunk of Bitcoin, he's not involved. And if he becomes involved, we will consider this as a problem. On the flip side, Evan and maybe like 3 other people control the majority of Dash. That's a problem. Vitalik Buterin controls not only a significant chunk of Ethereum, also controls way too much in Ethereum's development. That's a problem. Don't even get me started on Steemit. Okay, so these are all problems. In the case of Ethereum Classic, I have a feeling that Barry Silbert is very heavily involved because I think he even wants to start an Ethereum Classic ETF. So Silbert is very heavily involved, and that bothers me. So I have zero interest in Ethereum Classic. Classic, it's not as dumb as Ethereum, but it's as dumb as Ethereum was pre-DAO hack. So that's not saying much. Why don't the Bitcoin developers just go work for Litecoin and SegWit? Well, because the Bitcoin core developers are pretty ethical people, and like myself, they are not ready to give up on the Bitcoin community, and they think we will succeed the right way. And also, I wouldn't do it either. If Bitcoin dies and Litecoin takes over, and I explained this in my crypto scam Bitcoin video that I did with Chris DeRose. If that's the future of cryptocurrency, in that it's going to be Litecoin and Bitcoin is handed to Bitcoin Unlimited or whoever, because remember, if the Bitcoin core devs stop fighting, Bitcoin Unlimited wins, and I will stick to my promise to the community that I would also leave the space. The Bitcoin space anyway. I'll still have videos. It just will have nothing to do with Bitcoin. And I'm not going to join Litecoin. If Bitcoin dies and people transfer to Litecoin, I will use Litecoin. I mean, I'll take my salary in Litecoin instead of taking my salary in Bitcoin, but I'm not going to be hoarding it. I'm just going to use it like another currency. I'm going to focus on my trading. I'm going to make my money in trading. I'll be converting it to whatever cryptocurrency I need for censorship-resistant transactions. Because remember, I only care about the censorship-resistant transactions part. That's it. I'm not going to be using Litecoin. I'm not going to be using the Lightning channel to shop on Amazon. I'll use my credit card until these things actually scale in a more useful way. So that's kind of my view on things. And I hope they don't go work for Litecoin, because then Bitcoin dies, right? I'm not a developer. I'm not going to fill the slack. And if the smart developers leave, then the developers that are coming in are going to be shitty, right? I mean, so I don't want them to leave. And besides, they would make a hell of a lot more money if they go to Wall Street or banking, or if they go work for Google, or they go work for anybody, right? They're good developers. They'll make way more money not programming Bitcoin. They'll make more money if they hold on to the Bitcoin and then do the right things with Bitcoin to take it to the next level. Yeah, I don't want to get into the Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. I'm doing all that research. I'm starting to do that research now so I can cover them in my crypto scam podcast. I want to do Ethereum fairly soon, and then it'll be time for Ethereum Classic. Okay, I think I already talked about the naked short stuff. XRP is another scam, guys. Of course, I'm biased. Comment from Ed. Absolutely, I'm biased. If I wasn't biased, I wouldn't care. You're getting free content because I'm biased. If I was new, why would I do a neutral podcast without getting paid for it, right? Where, I mean, I'm passionate about one side of the thing, and that's why I put out free content for it. Pay me my $100,000 salary, and I'll be the most neutral moderator there is. I'll hate my job again, but I'll be neutral. Next question. What do they have to gain by splitting Bitcoin? Well, I think I already answered that. They have several things to gain. Some people think that they will be richer. In incompetent developers become in charge of all. You kick out the people that you don't like, which is the core developers. I mean, they have a lot to gain. Do you first need to buy the asset before shorting it? No, you don't. You don't have to. Someone else has to have the asset and let you borrow it. Let's see here. What do I think about Dash? I have a whole video. Just go to my YouTube channel that you're on right now, and it should be right there. It's called Crypto Scam Episode 4 Dash. All my thoughts on Dash are there. I mean, your opinion on altcoins can differ than mine, right? Not all altcoins are scams. I'm fairly confident Litecoin is not a scam. I am somewhat confident Monero is not a scam, but I haven't done all my research on Monero yet. And I will cover Monero in the Crypto Scam podcast, whether I think it's a scam or it isn't a scam. Just because it's not a scam doesn't mean it has any kind of potential. Those are two very independent things. And there's also a distinction of a scam, right? Because in some cases, the person that created something, they knew it was a scam from the start. In some cases, they didn't know it was a scam from the start, and it became a scam, at which point did that actor continue scamming after he knew he was running a scam, or did he fess up, or did he try to fix it, right? So, like, in my opinion, is way, 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 way less of a scammer than Big Vern is. That's just my opinion. Yeah, guys, all those Dash questions, just please go watch the Crypto Scam Dash episode. I'm not going to be talking about it here. All right, any other questions? Did you have some beef with Big Sui at Acapulco? I wouldn't call it beef. I mean, we disagree on silver greatly. I'll try and have him on my podcast. Maybe I already did crypto scam gold. Maybe I'll just do crypto scam silver. And if Bix wants to come on, then he'll come on. If not, I'll get someone else. I mean, it's... I think I did terrible in that debate, like I said. But that's just my opinion. Wow, there's really a lot of comments here. It's hard to separate the questions from comments. If I skipped your question by now, feel free to rewrite it at the end with the word question in front so it's easier. Guys, again, I'm not going to talk about why Dash is a scam. This is why I started the Crypto Scam podcast. Just go watch it. Do you think Satoshi Nakamoto is alive? Do you believe he is creating a killer app for Bitcoin? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what to think. Most likely, Satoshi Nakamoto is a group of people. Craig Wright may have been partially involved. That's why he's able to kind of know so much about the early days and have access to some of the stuff. One or two of the people involved probably died by now. Hal Finney could have been one of them. That guy from Florida could have been one of them. Could a significant person of the group Satoshi still be alive? Sure, they can. Do they want to be involved now and even show that they're alive? Probably not, because it would scare the market even more and create more controversy. So I try not. I don't really think about that stuff. It's out of my control. SegWit is somewhat in my control because I'm providing content on. Gold is used a lot for medical and automotive devices. I guess. I wouldn't say a lot, though. Yeah, gold has some good industrial properties, but if the price of gold goes up enough, then there's replacements for that. If the ETF doesn't pass, there'll probably be a scare. Just to get everyone scared, then the price will go back up. But SegWit is way more important. Do you think your crippled chain of 1 megabyte will be more valuable than the market-driven block size limit chain? Block size limit chain? That question makes no sense. Guys, I have no idea. All I know is I'm against hard forks, and I will stay on the original chain. It really is that simple. And if all my Bitcoin goes to the value of 0, then so be it. I'll focus on my options trading. I don't mind. Okay, next question. What would be a good profit-taking strategy from the Bitcoin volatility leading up? You already missed it. Profit-taking was at 1280, which I'm sure I would have mentioned weeks ago. I didn't know 1280 was going to be the target, but just look back at the chart. Look at every significant event that you knew was going to happen. The price always went up way before the event. And then weeks prior to the event, it had already started to go down. It's standard trading procedure in all assets, not just Bitcoin. Big blocks currently have 31.4% against 25.4% for SegWit. Okay, so what? I don't care. SegWit's the better piece of code. Look at the nodes. The nodes are clearly for SegWit. Just because the biggest pool operator is once big blocks doesn't mean anything. And by the way, a lot of people are going to leave that pool. I actually don't even think it's a pool. I bet you it's all Bitmain anyway. When the Lightning Network will be finished if SegWit passes? I don't know. Hopefully by end of year. We definitely have enough runway. The reason why Bitcoin Unlimited are so hell-bent on doing the hard fork now is because that if they know that if they don't do it now and SegWit wins, then they'll never be able to hard fork. And then they'll never be able to take control of the code. That's my simplest explanation for all of this. I am a big Occam's razor guy, like just simple explanations. They usually work really well. Would I debate Bix on V's show? I don't know. I guess. I mean, I don't care what show I debate people on. I tend to, when people ask me to be on a podcast, I'm on a podcast. I don't want to debate. I don't like debating. I'd rather just have them on my show and ask them tough questions. Question, more like a comment. I'm surprised how many banks are working with Ripple. I'm surprised as well. I mean, what else can I tell you? Bitcoin 10,000? Well, I don't know. Not if this debate keeps happening for the next 2 years. I think I already answered the Boxers or Briefs question. Go check out older episodes. Do you think government agencies want the ETF to pass so Bitcoin fails and is no longer a threat? I don't think government agencies think that far ahead and are that, I don't like conspiracy theories, and that's a conspiracy theory to me. So I'm going to lean towards no. Will Bitcoin crash to 700? Probably not, unless Bitcoin Unlimited keeps getting support. If Bitcoin Unlimited is winning, anything can happen. I mean, if Bitcoin Unlimited gets 55, 60% of the mining hash rate, yeah, I can see 500. Shoot, I can see 100. Anything can happen. And by the way, if Bitcoin Unlimited nonsense never started and we only had SegWit, I mean, I don't know what the future would be, but I think we'd be in much better financial position for the price of Bitcoin right now. Just my opinion. Do you think VCs and traditional angel startup investors will pour into the market after the ETF? Well, maybe, because the ETF kind of puts a stamp of approval from the government that Bitcoin is okay. So I guess it will help. But Bitcoin doesn't need that. Bitcoin doesn't need VC money. Bitcoin just needs secure wallets and people knowing what Bitcoin is good for. And it's not for Starbucks. All right, guys, I think I finally got to the end of the chat. I think this video has gone way too long. I have no intention of making these things 2 hours. Hopefully, I won't have to do this after Bitcoin Unlimited disappears. But then again, I know some bigger bullshit's going to come our way. All right, guys, on that note, I'm going to cut this video. I don't even know how long it is. I'm guessing at least an hour and a half or more. But thank you for tuning in. I hit like 130 live viewers. I'm down to 118. Thank you for the support. We will try and get a live video on the nodes, how to set up a full node and signal for SegWit. Please support the Magic Money movie. It's for beginners of Bitcoin, though I would be even afraid to show this to people right now because of the state that Bitcoin is in. Worries me a little bit. Let's see if the price has changed. Let's see if the Brave New Coin, oh, there it is. There's the Brave New Coin Liquid Index. It updated at 9 p.m. Eastern time, so 30 minutes ago. As you can see, this is not all that scary. Oops, I hit the update button. Probably shouldn't have done that. We are already starting to bounce up a little bit. It is possible that the scare has ended. It is, come on. I wanted to cut this video already. By the way, I literally landed from Mexico this morning, and it was an overnight flight, so I'm still a little tired. It's possible that this drop has ended. We will see tomorrow. This red line is decent support. I think this prior top of 1050 is better support, and the 1000 round number is also good support, and the 50-day moving average is good support. So this is, again, but buying Bitcoin right now is scary because of this whole Bitcoin Unlimited nonsense. If Bitcoin Unlimited wasn't happening right now, I would be screaming buy, and then I was screaming double down. But again, Bitcoin Unlimited gives us pause, and maybe it's a good thing, right? Maybe we don't want Bitcoin at 3,000 right now, because then there could be a big crash and we lose 50%, and it'll be like late 2013 all over again. So you never know what's good for the future. All we can do is speculate. Yeah, current average mempool, 50,000 transactions. Okay, well, take a look at how many miners are not mining full blocks and go yell at them. Why aren't they mining full blocks? And, that's all I can tell you. All right, guys, signing off. Good luck trading, and catch me on Friday on the Bitcoin group. Bye-bye.